Hello and welcome to session 2. In this video, I want to shed some light on where it is that you have most of your focus. So in the last video, we established that your focus creates your reality. So wherever your consciousness has its attention is what you're creating. And a lot of people will say, well, why do I create so many things that I don't want? You know, I'm having a lot of things that are happening to me that I'm not focusing on. And the reason is, as I explained in the first video, is that really we don't have any idea of where our focus and attention is most of the time. So the vast majority of your attention is on your fears and what you don't want to happen or what you're trying to push away and resist. So just to give you an example of this, for example, you say, I want to grow my business and expand sales. So that's something that you want to accomplish and create. And one way to do that is through marketing and getting yourself and your message and your products out visibly in the world where people can see it. And a great way to do that is to post videos and content like reels and lives on social media. So that's the action that you need to take to let everybody know what you're doing and what you're offering. Yet you don't make the videos. Okay, so every time you go to do it, you procrastinate and you find something else to do. And then, you don't end up making the videos because really what's going on underneath is that your focus is on actually your unconscious fears. For example, what if I get no sales? What if people criticize me? What if I fail? What if it doesn't work? All those sorts of things that the mind starts to come up with. And maybe, one of your unconscious fears is it's not safe to be seen. Or, you're worried about getting rejected, which is a very common fear that we all have. So this is where your focus really is. And the action that you're taking or the action that you're not taking is really pointing to where your focus actually is. So in this case, your focus is on what you don't want to happen. Okay. And it stops you taking the action you need to take to create what you want because your focus is actually on your fears. So when you're procrastinating, it's not generally a lack of motivation. It's a way of coping with your unconscious fears. So let's look at where your consciousness can have its attention to explain this in more detail. So your consciousness can have its attention on three main things. So you've got the outside world that's coming in through your five senses. Then you have your thoughts in your mind. And then you have the feelings that are generated or feelings and emotions that are generated in your heart. So normally these three things are linked. The outside world comes in, it stimulates your thoughts and feelings to match. So if you like what's going on in the outside world, your thoughts and feelings are generally good. And if you don't like what's happening in the outside world, then generally your thoughts and feelings are going to be negative or bad. So basically, your consciousness can be focused on those three things: the outside world, and then your thoughts and feelings about it. Now, notice that a lot of the time, your consciousness is distracted and it has its attention on the unconscious automatic thoughts. So that's one of the three. But just notice that a lot of the time it's there. So even when you're, looking at the outside world or, you're in a conversation with someone, a lot of the time you're really just up here and that mind is just going and going and going. It's just got all these thoughts coming in constantly, like all day long. It never stops. And just recognize that a lot of your consciousness has its attention there. So these thoughts, they're not created by you, not intentionally. They're created by your mind automatically. And these thoughts are not you, okay? So like I said, that your mind creates these automatically, and there's a reason for that, which we'll go into in another video. But when you think and experience those automatic thoughts, just ask yourself the question, what are they like most of the time? Are they good? Are they positive? Are they uplifting? Are they making you want to just get out there and take action? Or are they the opposite? Are they negative? Are they fearful thoughts? Are they making you feel anxious and worried? I know the answer to this question because I have a mind myself, and I know why it is that way. So I know that this is what you're experiencing most of the time, is that they're automatic thoughts that tell you things are going to go wrong. They're very fearful. They make you worried and anxious. So like I said, I can get into the reason why that is the case in another video, because that's a whole another video for itself. And I'll be able to explain why there's negative, why your mind is quite disturbed, and why it's noisy all of the time. Because I know that's something that a lot of people talk about, that I've spoken with, that they really struggle with the fact that their mind is so noisy and negative. So can you see now that if your consciousness is focused on your mind's thoughts most of the time, and it's where your consciousness is focused, that's what you are creating, you can see why you're creating so many unwanted things. So the good thing is, I know it sounds very bad right now, but the good thing is, it's when you experience in your life that you're creating a lot of unwanted things, it's not personal to you. It's not about you. It's not that you're broken. You don't need to be fixed. It's not that the universe or God hates you, or your prayers aren't being answered. It's none of those things. It's just about where your focus is. And basically every prayer is being answered because it's where your focus is. And where your focus is what you're asking for. It's just the way the universe works. And it's the message I really want to get across here, because it takes away all the personalized pressure that you're doing something wrong. It's not that you're doing anything wrong. You're creating perfectly in the way that the universe works. It's just that we need to become more conscious of that. So it's really good news, right? Because it's making you realize you aren't actually powerless at all. You're actually a very powerful creator. We all just need to learn to become more conscious and intentional about where the consciousness is focused. So there are a few reasons why your unconscious thoughts are so negative, and I've touched on a few of them before, but I'll touch on one more in this video, because it'll help to show you why you're focusing on what you don't want to happen more often. So the number one role of your unconscious mind is about survival and safety, which is awesome. It's a great thing. I don't want to get to the point where everyone's negative about their unconscious and their mind and all that sort of thing. It's not about that. It's just about understanding how everything works so you can work with it when you're trying to create the life that you want. So the unconscious mind is all about survival and safety. Awesome. Because without being alive and without surviving, you can't have the experience of life. So it's really beneficial to have this part of you. The aspect, like I said, it's not bad. We just need to become aware of how it works. Where this becomes challenging is when you decide you want to create something you've never created before. So when you decide you want to create something new, what your unconscious mind doesn't know that it can survive, then it's going to throw up resistance. So anything you know how to survive is safe, and anything you've done before and you survive is safe, and anything you haven't done before, your unconscious mind says, well, we haven't survived that before. We don't know it's safe. So of course, because its number one role is to keep you safe, it's going to throw up resistance to you taking action towards creating that thing. So how does it do that? The only way it can, obviously, and it's by creating all the sorts of things that could go wrong and all the terrible things that could happen if you were to do this. It starts throwing them up into your mind so that you don't take the action and you stay safe. So what I want to get across about this is that these thoughts are not real. Yes, you're having them, but they're not a real reflection of reality right now or what's possible for you to create. So really what they are is a reflection of assumptions that you have created throughout your whole life, through all the experiences that you've had that tell you, your assumptions about who you are, about who others are, and about how the world works. So these thoughts, because they're based on only your experience, are very limiting, very, very, very limiting. So if you give these thoughts the attention of your consciousness, you will create it. And it's very easy to give these thoughts the attention because you really believe that these thoughts that the mind is making up to keep you safe are real, that all these bad things are going to happen. And I talk a lot about this with people who I've done some coaching with before. When they have all these thoughts, they take the action anyway and achieve what they wanted to achieve. None of what their mind came up with ever comes true. But when it's happening at the time, we really believe these thoughts are real. And we believe our mind is the greatest guru of the world. We believe that it's us and that everything it says is real. And it's just not the case. So if you want to become a more deliberate creator of your reality, you need to understand what these thoughts are and realize that they're not going to take you to where you say you want to go. And we need to start to learn when these thoughts come up to think again, to think differently, and to think consciously. The unconscious thoughts are not going to take you to where you say you want to go. So basically, your unconscious mind is just a set of patterns from the past. And for the most part, these patterns, they were created through painful and uncomfortable situations that you couldn't handle, when you were a kid because they were emotionally difficult. So there's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with these patterns, but they happened and we have to honor that. But you just don't want to listen to it when you're trying to create something new. So to recap, in this second video, I've started to explain that you are very unaware of where your attention is and where your focus is, right? So most of the time, it's on your unconscious automatic thoughts that are not real or true. They're very negative, they're very disempowering, and they're just trying to keep you here in the same place because that's what's safe, that's what's survivable, and that is the number one. That's the number one goal of your unconscious mind. Okay, so even if you are in pain right now, even if you're suffering right now, your unconscious mind will prefer to keep you there than try something new because it knows here, even though it's painful, is survivable. Okay, so this explains why a lot of people stay in relationships and jobs or other situations that they know doesn't serve them anymore, but they stay anyway. And you will see these people in your life. You're looking from the outside in at their situation and wondering, why are they staying in this job or relationship or situation that is causing them so much pain? Well, the reason is they're listening to their unconscious automatic thoughts that are trying to keep them safe. Okay, so you can have a little bit more compassion because it's very difficult for us to see our own stuff, our own patterns, and it's really important to have someone else to help show you this. So I hope this second video has opened your awareness around where your focus is. As I think I said before, until you are aware of where your focus is, you don't have the ability to change it. So you can use your will, and it does take will, to change your focus consciously. But if you don't know where your conscious and unconscious focus is, then you can't do that. So this is really a call and a challenge to become more conscious in where you're focused on. So to do that, to become more conscious, you have to really understand even more so, even beyond what we've done in this video, how your unconscious was created. So we'll go through that in the next video.